Hello, everyone. Hello. The Hands of Anna Walker here on the felting table in the studio of StabThingsIntoExistence.com. Welcome. I am going to, for Tell Me Thursday, show you how I go about wetting down a project. And as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking we need to move this up just a bit more if we can. There. Now you can see a little bit better the entire area here. So I have my solar pool cover, which is basically industrial style bubble wrap, on my felting table. I have a couple of areas where I've put a little bit of toweling underneath the edge to make sure that the water doesn't drip onto the floor, because this is a wet process, okay? I also have a microfiber towel right here at the end so that any liquid that comes off here will be captured. Microfiber towels are great for this, and you can pick them up for $1 a piece or now $1.25 at Dollar Tree. They work very, very well for felting because they'll soak up that liquid very quickly for you. I also have right over here an ice cream tub, empty. Yes, we probably ate the ice cream at some point in time, although this one came from Mom's house. And in it I have some lukewarm soapy water, and it's just enough liquid soap in it that it feels slick, okay? You'll want to have another towel around to dry your hands as needed. And inside I have one of my favorite tools, and I'm going to bring it over here so you can see it. This is called a ball browse, and it is a gardening tool originally, but it works beautifully for wetting down a project because it gives you a nice, gentle spray over the top of your fibers. It doesn't move the fibers out of the way. It doesn't push them around. It pretty much just allows you to cover that area with the liquid and allows you to wet it down without any major disruption to the fibers at all. Now, I am probably going to go through at least 3 of these filled with this warm soapy water before I get done wetting this down, because you will be amazed at how much water the wool will soak up. So you notice I put that soapy water down without having any netting on. Did that for a reason. I have started to wet down my fiber first, and then take a piece of bubble wrap. It can be regular or industrial, whatever you've got on hand, and use that to press the fibers, that moisture all the way through the fibers. This gives me the ability, without moving those fibers around, to see how much liquid I might still need to add, because we need to change the pH of all of the fibers to get those fibers to open their scales up in order to connect with the other fibers next to them. Now, as I expected, right here where the big sunflower is, I'm going to need some more liquid, and I'm feeling that I've got some soft areas in here too. This is why I use the bubble wrap, because I can take and lift it off without the fibers of the netting grabbing hold. So I can see, definitely need to do some more here. I need to do some more here and right around the edges. So I'm just going to add some more soapy water right in these areas. Now, if you don't have a ball browse, and they're not terribly common, but they can be found, you can use a garden sprayer, one of those things that you pump and you get some pressure in there to allow you to spray water. Maybe you're spraying, I hate to say pesticides, but maybe you're using it for pesticides, or maybe you're using it for fertilizer, and those work beautifully well. I have a couple that I will bring to workshops so that I have the ability to help people get their fibers wet down rather easily. And now I would rather have more liquid than I need right now because I got plenty of toweling that can pick up the excess moisture. But I want to make sure that I get these fibers completely wet. And you can feel the moisture in there. I mean, I can feel this moisture very, very easily. This last little bit, and I can actually even see some sudsing starting to happen. But this is exactly what we want. We want to have these fibers moist. And so once I've got all of the fibers in this area, I'll be working on wetting this particular project down probably most of the next couple of hours just to get it all wetted down. But once we've got this done, once we know it's wet, and I know it's wet because my fibers are moving a little bit around the edges, I can bring these little bits in on the edges, maybe a tiny bit more right up there. Anyone who's seen my work knows that I like these nice natural edges. And for this particular project, these peace flags, it'll have a natural edge at the top and at the bottom, but the sides are going to be cut straight. So it's not too terribly important for me to get this side done, but I do want to make sure that I've got the top and the bottom nicely done. And because I'm using a pre-felt underneath here, I can tuck those loose fibers right underneath the edge. Okay, you want to be very careful when you're working with your project at this stage because nothing is connecting yet. So be very delicate with how you are handling everything. When I'm using a pre-felt as a base, it makes it a little easier because I can feel that fabric underneath of the pre-felt. But what I need to do now is cover this with netting so that I can give a little bit of massaging action to get this started. Now there are a couple of different types of netting you can use. This is mosquito netting, and I like it because I can get a couple of yards of this, and I've got plenty of netting to use for just about any size project that I have on the table. And I like using this netting because I can see very definitely through it. I don't have to worry about missing any of the details. But there's another netting you can use. Here's another dollar store item. You can use shelf liner. You can get a roll of shelf liner. You can get a roll of bubble wrap for, $1.25 at the Dollar Tree. And these are easy, inexpensive tools that you can grab hold of. But I'm going to stick with the mosquito netting for right now. Now, the starting process for wet felting is just a gentle massage to get those fibers to start to form a skin on the surface. Because once we've got that skin formed, then the fibers are going to, during the rolling process, start to connect top to bottom. But right now, we just want to make a nice, easy skin over the surface so that those fibers will begin to connect together. There's no pressure. This is just a gentle massage. And remember, the direction that you're felting, or in this case, the direction that I'm massaging, is the direction that the fibers are going to connect. So I want to make sure that I am connecting fibers in every direction possible to create the strongest bit of felt in the final project that I can. So I'll do swirls, and I'll do up and down, and I'll do side to side, and I'll just give a nice gentle massage to start this process. I know that I've got enough soap in here because I am building up a nice little bit of suds, so I know that there's enough soap in here to open the scales of the fibers so that they will start to connect. Right now I'm just doing a little gentle pressing downward, not heavy at all. We want to be very delicate at this point. But again, this is another direction that I am working the fibers, so it will help them connect top to bottom a little easier when I give this gentle little push down, and it's just massaging. And if you have too much liquid, you can always take a microfiber towel, lay it across the top, and soak up some of that excess liquid. But at this early stage of the felting process, I like to make sure that I have more liquid than I think I'll need rather than less liquid. It is easier to soak up extra moisture than it is to discover after you've been rolling and massaging that you don't have quite as good a connection as you thought you did. So more is always better. Anyone who knows me knows that I've always been extra. And I'm not going to apologize for it. So when do I stop massaging? Well, when I can see fibers starting to come through and I see that I've got a nice coverage here. Very careful when you lift your netting off because the fibers can tend to migrate through your netting fabric. And this piece is looking good. So what I want to do now is come back to the bubble wrap, and I want to give it a little bit more of a massage with the agitation of the bubbles here. And I'm going to pull back this second bit. The thing about working with the bubble wrap is you've got to make sure that your hands are wet. And now I can start working a little bit more intently. Still not exerting a whole lot of pressure, but those bubbles facing down on our surface are helping to agitate the fibers a little bit. The massage was great for building a skin to get the felting process started, but the bubbles help us get that agitation in there because it's not about pressure, it's about agitation. And anytime we have an uneven surface, that helps us with the agitation process. Again, I'm not putting any pressure on here. I am just rubbing across the top so that those bubbles have a chance to agitate the surface. All right, let's give it a look. That's looking good. Okay, we've got our end piece here. That'll get cut off, so I'm not worried about that. Our upper layer, upper edge, and our lower edge are good. The colors are looking great. And I'm going to take my bubble wrap, get another piece of it, and cover this, and then I'm going to start rolling, and then I'll slide the next area of the peace flags up here so that I can work the next area. But that's the starting process for doing this wet felted project, and I'll be working on it, as I said, during the day. So I will post pictures later on of the process. I may even post a video when I get this set up on the gentle roller, and we'll talk later. So thanks for being here today on Tell Me Tuesday. I hope this has helped you see how the wet felting process takes shape, and I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow's live is going to be in the evening because the reception for the Flora and Fauna show is tomorrow evening at the Morris Gallery in the Noto Art Center. And I will come to you live from the gallery for the awards presentation tomorrow evening, and we'll see you then. So have a great day. Go felt something. And if you've got any questions, hit me up at stabthingsintoexistence.com. Talk later. Bye-bye.